What is happening, y'all? Hey, we're going quick into this today, liking these late lives for the weekend. But today specifically is accept that we don't always make the best decision. Why am I talking about this? Especially when it comes to mindset, leadership, making better informed decisions. Because sometimes we make the best decision that is in alignment with us, what we think is important, our core values, but it could be at the expense of hurting other people. So for me, I made a decision that when I say I don't fuck with somebody, I don't fuck with them. You're not gonna see me shake a man's hand. I just don't fuck with them. I won't slap their hand. I'll look them in the face, be like, nah, I'm good. And that's a decision that I made, right? Because growing up, I would have to be in places where I was forced to be around groups of people I didn't want to be around, places I didn't want to be. And I used to fucking hate that shit as a kid. So that is one of my downfalls. The reason why is because I could easily be a better man and shake a hand, regardless of how I feel about the individual, I feel about the circumstance, and I can move forward through whatever it is. The problem is when you don't do those things, when you directly think that what's in alignment with your core values is okay and it may offend other people. And the reason why I'm saying, normally I'm like, I don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. I'm talking about my wife in this case. I decided to act a particular way with an individual. I was like, nah, fuck that. I'm not talking about that. I don't fuck with this dude. He's a weirdo. Now that came at an expense because I embarrassed my wife. And within that moment, I did not show up the best way possible for myself. Obviously, I could have just shook the dude's hand. We could have been about business. What about the fucking day? But to me, that was fake, and I ain't about that shit. So if I say I don't fuck with somebody, I don't fuck with that person. I'm not going to go out of my way and break my character of who I am. So it came with a cost. I embarrassed my wife, made my wife look bad, made her feel uncomfortable. I decided to open my fucking mouth because I felt a particular way. I started getting some dirty fucking looks. So I'm like, what's up then? Again, it goes into the mindset of the way we're portraying ourselves. We're stepping into life, we're bringing things on, and we're living within our own purpose, means, and whatever. Now, in this case, I could easily went one or two routes. I'm telling you the way I went because in my head, that's the way I am. I'm not going to break off of who I am, my core values, doing things that aren't in alignment with me. And you know what? It came at an expense. It made me look bad. It made me look a particular way. It made me deviate from character a little bit. The reason why is because if you didn't see me act that way with a person I don't fuck with, it is it. But the reason why I do that is because in my life, it's reoccurring principles, especially with people that I don't fuck with, that they continually pop up, or it's letting the fucking loose ones go in, or if it's something to where in my head, and it's just like that quote, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. I would be acceptant of some people when it comes to certain times and certain purposes and whatever the fuck it is, that it would lead to big problems down the road because it would be another person. And since I fucked up that way, here goes the same thing. So in my head, I was like, nah, I'm putting my foot down. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what anybody has to say. I'll run my fucking mouth. I'll back the shit up. Again, it came with an expense. And that's what I'm talking about today. Except that we don't always make the best decision within the current time, with the current mediums, and that is okay. What is okay is moving forward from the situation, learning about it, and saying, hey, this or that. So if it arises that I'm in that same room, hey, man, I'll explain myself if I need to. As a man, you don't need to explain yourself. But if the situation comes up and I say that, hey, man, I don't fuck with you for this reason, I understand that you're a grown ass man. You can do what you do, but I ain't one for that. I ain't going to fucking be over here handshaking and acting a certain way with somebody I just don't fuck with. That is my logic. That is the way I went that way. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. Again, you choose exactly what it is, but the repercussions that come from that is exactly what you chose. So in my case, I didn't make the best decision within the time. I didn't show up the best way that I could, and it led to more feelings in the end. And that's what you really got to do. You got to figure out for yourself is, hey, is this in alignment with my core values? Is this in alignment with me being the best that I can be within the moment? Good thing is I didn't escalate it even further, but it easily could have been. And that's the things that we want to mitigate, especially when there's a lot of people around, family around. It's just things that we shouldn't be acting like if we're talking about being a better version of ourselves and so forth. So I talk about this because I'm real vocal about what I accept, what I don't accept. And in my case, yeah, I fucked up in this case because I knew the baggage that was going to come with the decision I made, but I full-heartedly went into it because, again, I'm not going to be on no shit like that. If I call it bullshit, I'm going to stick to my guns. Again, you can stick to your guns, but know that things come with it. Maybe your favorite people that are rocking with you may not support the decisions you make. You see it with one guy. He decided to call out races, call out one of certain races. Now, with that comes a lot of problems, a lot of people who stop following. I even started saying this dude's full of shit sometimes now because some of the things he says, some of the way he acts, whatever, right? Some things people say. Again, whatever you do is going to follow. There's going to be a suit after whatever decision you make. And that's my point here is you got to accept it, move on, and go from there. So if it means explaining yourself, it means being a better man, it means leading from example, whatever decision you made, that is it. It's the same thing like when you have that fuck it mentality. You have that fucking mentality, go about your business, you do what you think is morally, ethically right within the moment. It doesn't fucking matter. You decided to act upon something, now live upon it and choose that. And that's all this episode is about today, is accepting that we don't always make that best decision, but now it's moving forward after that decision's made.